Now, why did I say this? Why did I say this? There's one uh, form weapon they use called white phosphorus. This is one of the deadliest weapons you could use if you is on a commuter, something like airplane or something like that, or a train. They know this here, or anything, because white phosphorus you cannot put it out. But the part is, you cannot manufacture this stuff and carry it no kind of way without injuring yourself, because it has to be shipped underwater. At all times, it's got to have water on top of it. You cannot mix this stuff in no airplane or nothing like that without burning yourself up. It's impossible. It has to be made, created, and manufactured before you even take it on an airplane. Somebody might could do this, but they're gonna get burned up in the process. Done it, I guess, because I don't know how it's made. I heard the guy on what I did, Timothy McVeigh. They got Timothy McVeigh, and I heard this guy said on national TV that you can make this stuff out of peroxide. I said, I didn't know you can do that. You know, why is that? But you probably got to have more than peroxide to make this stuff. But that's what this guy said. You can make white phosphorus out of peroxide. I said, Lord, they get this here. This here, I wrote it in my first book. I said, they get this here and terrace. You don't know this here. Because I got caught on fire one time by white phosphorus when I worked at the hospital. And you can't put it out with no fire extinguisher. Now, I'm saying this. I'm saying this to say this. The man that they alleged was trying to blow up this airplane and burn himself right here. And the man got it and they said they put it out with a fire extinguisher. The man who did this, nobody trained him how to do anything. He looked more like a decoy than anything else. Looked like as a propaganda cell to the people, that these people over in this area, in this region, is terrorists. Hate America. That's what I looked at. This man don't know nothing. It was just like the thing that President George W. Bush spoke up when he said, we killing 1,700 a month. I mean 1,500 a month, insurgent month, in 2007. And I said, how dumb are these people that they just run out there and they can kill 1,500 a month. But in 2006, they said they were finding from 50 to 200 dumped on bodies each night, all 2006, where they were bound and torturing and shooting them. This here, the same way about this young man, 22 years old, sitting up here with some high explosives, wasn't no high explosives, say it could have did some damage, selling propaganda. What they didn't know, some of the people is wise who've been in the military, knowing that you have to have a specific high explosion to create any kind of bomb. Or white phosphorus. White phosphorus is not a high explosive. It just ignites one oxygen here. And only way you're going to get a high explosion, it's got to be mixed before it put on a plane, because it's got to go through a due process of mixing so many amounts of chemical. They cannot mix that on the plane. It has to be carried on the plane, already mixed and ready to use. This is what makes this look kind of funny. But they had to have evidence to sell a lie. They said, we're having trouble in here. And once they have trouble in here, there's a target over here. These people's got to be involved in plotting against the United States of America. But look at all these oil wells over here. How come people is not in South Africa hating America? Everywhere it go is here around where God said they would go. This is what Trust me. And God said in Daniel chapter 7 that the military force came, which was more stout than others, as if he had been waiting until everybody swear themselves out. And they was the one going to do this. God said this in Daniel chapter 7. I can show this to you, but I don't have time right now. The horn with the little eyes, which I show is the CIA. How you have to do this. Look at this evidence, what I'm putting out here and showing people. I'm showing these things. Well, they had to have something coming from a black man's mouth and not a white man, because we'll say it's a race thing. They haven't convinced me that's not. It's a race issue, a black and white issue. God done said it, and all this, because the man that was born of Adam was a black man. Eve was a black man. The only man that was white was the one that is not in the book of life, caused by the angels, interbreeding with the daughters of men, which came from the daughters of Cain. These was the one who was not in the book of life. And these people, the only people in the book of life, the man that doesn't have a covenant with God, complaining, saying these people is waging a war against him, and he is not even in the book of life. I haven't said that over and over again, and it is true. Go to Genesis chapter 6, 1-5. Now, the reason I did this here, because the man do not serve God. Let me take you to Genesis. I'm going to show you this here. I'm starting here because there's some parts I got to go and I got to start this on this here part to show you what happened here. The Bible said it's religion. And look, the Bible is not a religion. I took and wrote it's a command by God. You don't believe it? Go back. People might dispute me and say, no, it's religion. No, it's command. It's commanded from God because he commanded them. God is angry with the seed of Abraham because they didn't keep the commandment of Moses. Throughout Bible history and Bible prophecy, you'll see that the Bible commanded people. But when you take and say it's a religion, you lower it to a standard, and when you lower it down from a commandment of God, a book of commandments commanded by God from the foundation of the earth, then the devil will take his doctrine, his false doctrine, and elevate it up. So this is a religious war. It's not a religious war. Religion ain't got nothing to do about it. It's the commandment what God commanded that first man. And the seed of Cain said they was not going to obey God. They was not going to use it. Anything God commanded, he was not going to use it. And these was the one that the angels bare children by his daughters. And with the mentality of Cain, they refused to serve God. But these days, they're over there taking the fruits that God gave to his people and mine and calling these people terrorists. And they're not even in the book of life. This is what's happening here. They're blaspheming, and they're taking away the law God gave to Moses and replacing it with a law called democracy. This is where we're going with this here. This is what I'm talking about. If God gave me a charge that I had to tell these people that this, I got to tell them the truth, what's going on. But they had to get something from a black man to say, I was trained right here. Well, that doesn't mean that he is who he is, because in Iraq they got people serving the Antichrist. In Afghanistan they got people serving the Antichrist. They got people serving the Antichrist here in Africa. They got people in the United States who's of the black race serving the Antichrist. Create situation of falsehood just to convict the innocent.